We're continuing today, Meretz Hashem, in Mishna Yomi, and we find ourselves in Parak Ches. Mishna is Dal through Hay. Chapter 8, Mishna is 4 through 5. So Mishna Hay says Mishna Dalid, Mishna 4 says as follows: Ne'emonen al hayarak chai, ve'in ne'emonen al hamavushal. So remember again, going back to the idea of from yesterday's Mishnah, that when is a poor person believed to say that the produce that he has in his possession are Meiser Ani, or is Meiser Ani, and therefore exempt from any other Trumas and Meisers. So the Mishnah says, raw vegetables, it's common to receive raw vegetables as Meiser Ani. So therefore, if a poor person has raw vegetables in his possession and he claims that they're Meiser Ani, we believe him and they don't need to be tithed. However, ve'ein ne'eman al hamavushal, but he's not believed regarding cooked vegetables, and this is because, of course, it's not common to give Meiser Ani from cooked vegetables. Ela imkein hayala davar ma'at shekein derech balabayis lios motzi milafaso, unless, of course, it's a small amount of cooked vegetables. So in a case of a small amount of cooked vegetables, and the ani claims that they're Meiser Ani, that it's a tithe, they'll probably believe him. Why? Because it's common that what could happen, sometimes the balabayis forgets to give Meiser Ani from his vegetables, and by the time he remembered, he has already cooked his vegetables. So therefore, again, what will he give Meiser Ani from? Cooked vegetables. So this is not a common occurrence, but it's also not uncommon. So if it's a lot of cooked vegetables, we don't assume it's Meiser Ani. But if it's a small amount of cooked vegetables and the Ani claims that it's Meiser Ani and therefore exempt from any types of Trumas and Meisros, we will believe the Ani in that circumstance. Beautiful. We now come to Mishnah Hay. Now here's what's very interesting. Halacha l'maisa, the Mishnah over here discusses the minimum amount of Meiser Ani that a person has to give from different types of crops. A very interesting idea. A very interesting idea. So the Mishnah says as follows. The Mishnah says, Ein pochesin la'aniyim begar mechatzi kav chitim v'kav se'orim. So interestingly enough, so remember, just one more piece that the Bartenura highlights over here. The Bartenura explains that halacha l'maisa, the way it works by Meiser Ani. The Bartenura says, Kishem mechalkin Meiser Ani begoren, einosin chol ani va'ani pachos mishir zeh. So here's what's interesting. The way it works with Meiser Ani is if you are a pauper, you're showing up to the Goren. Goren is the threshing floor. And it is there at the Goren, at the threshing floor, that the Balabayis is giving the Ani, giving the poor person Meiser Ani. So now the Mishnah is going to discuss when an Ani shows up at the threshing floor, how much do you have to give him for Meiser Ani? So the Mishnah says, if we don't give less, mechatzi kav chitin, a half a kav of wheat, half of kav wheat, the kav se'orim, and a kav of barley. Mary says, no, even a half a kav of barley, chatzi kav, half a kav of barley is enough. So again, this would be the minimum amount that when an ani shows up at your threshing floor, that you have to give him. Kav v'chetzi kusmin, spelt, you have to give 1.5 kav. The kav grogros, and 1 kav of figs. Grogros are actually dried figs. O mona devela, or a mona, these are all different amounts of pressed figs. Rabbi Kiva Omer pressed. Rabbi Kiva says you don't have to give a whole mona, rather you only have to give a half a mona. What about when it comes to wine? Chatzi lug yayin. You have to give a half a lug of wine. Rabbi Kiva Omer revius. Rabbi Kiva says no, the minimum shear for Meiser Ani of wine is a revius. Revius, of course, means a quarter of a lug. So the Mishnah goes on. Excuse me. The Mishnah says, Revius shemen, one has to go ahead and give a quarter of a lug of shemen, of oil. Rabbi Akiva says, shminis, you only have to give 1/8 of a lug. Ushar kol haperos, and any other type of produce, ab amar b'shol, kedei sheyimkareim v'yikach bohen mezonos shtei seudos. This is interesting. When it comes to any other kinds of produce, the halacha is, you have to give the ani enough of the particular type of produce that he could sell it, and use the proceeds from the sale to go ahead and buy enough food for 2 meals. It's a really interesting idea. Mishnah helping us to highlight the minimum amount of each type of produce that has to be given for Meiser Ani. Okay, shkach everyone. We'll stop over here for today. We'll pick up in Meretz Hashem tomorrow with Mishnah's Vav through Zayin. Wishing everyone a wonderful day.